Okay, we'll start the class. Yesterday we have started the transformers, unit 3. So transformer is a device which steps up the voltage or steps down the voltage. Okay. Today we'll see the principle in transformer. Today we'll see principle in transformer. First of all, what is a transformer? A transformer is see here. A transformer is a static device. Is there any rotating part in transformer?
No.
That's why it is called static device. It can't move. We are having primary winding and secondary winding. We are having primary winding. This is the primary winding. This is the secondary winding. Two windings are there. N1 is the number of turns of primary coil. N2 is the number. Don't draw. Just listen. There is no need to draw. N2 is the number of turns of the secondary coil. Okay. Here, first of all, transformer is a static device by means of which electric power in one circuit is transformed into electric power of the same frequency. Frequency will not change. Only voltage will be stepped up or stepped down. Suppose in the primary winding for the AC supply voltage frequency is 50 Hz. In the secondary winding also frequency is 50 Hz. There is no change in the frequency. Depending upon the number of turns, the voltage will be increased or decreased. If N2 is greater than N1, your voltage will be stepped up. If N2 is less than N1, your voltage will be stepped down. Okay, we are stepping up the voltage or stepping down the voltage with the help of transformer. Now, what is the principle in the transformer? Means the principle is mutual induction. What is this mutual induction? We'll see now. Okay, I will explain on the board. What do you mean by mutual induction? Okay, see here. I'll explain it on the board. Wait for 1 minute. Listen here. This is the primary winding of the coil having N1 turns. This is the secondary winding of the coil having N2 turns. Here I am applying the supply voltage V1. Here I am applying the supply voltage V1. When you apply the supply voltage V1, your current is passing. Your current is passing. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Your current I1 is passing through this winding. When current is passing through this winding, yesterday I had told you. What I had told you? Around the current carrying conductor, what will happen?
Magnetic field.
Magnetic field is developed. That is, magnetic flux is developed. Magnetic flux is developed. When current is passing through this coil, magnetic flux. This is the electric quantity. From the electric quantity, you will get magnetic flux, magnetic quantity. So here, around this coil, flux is developed. I am calling it as phi11. Around this coil flux is developed. This is called phi11. Phi11 is equal to self flux. Phi11 is called the self flux. Why it is called self flux means due to its own current I1, due to its own current I1 flux, due to its own current I1 flux is developed. That is called self flux. Now see here, in the primary coil flux is developed. Now what about the secondary coil? What about the secondary? Due to this, let us concentrate on the first coil only. Then what is the EMF induced in the first coil? EMF induced in the first coil is equal to, what is the Faraday's second law? Rate of change of flux linkage with respect to time.
dt.
Okay, d phi by dt. This is Faraday's second law. Faraday's second law is EMF induced in the coil is equal to rate of change of flux linkage with respect to time, d phi by dt. Then what is the phi here in the first coil? Phi
1
1. And in the first coil, we are having N1 is the number of turns in the first coil. N1 into d phi 11 by dt. This is the EMF induced in the first coil. So phi 11 is the flux induced in the first coil. Phi 11 is the flux induced in the first coil. And EMF induced in the first coil is E1. Voltage induced in the first coil is E1. And the voltage induced in this coil is N1 into d phi 11 by dt. So what is the difference between V1 and E1? V1 is the supply voltage. V1 is the supply voltage we are applying. And E1 is the voltage induced in the coil. How this voltage is induced? Due to the
magnetic flux.
Due to flux only we have got the voltage induced in this. That is about the primary coil. Now come to the secondary coil. Now part of this flux is linking with the first coil. Phi 11 is in the first coil. Now part of the flux is linking with the second coil also, like this. Part of this flux is linking with the second coil. And the flux developed in the second coil is phi 21. I am calling it as flux induced in the second coil. Phi 11 is flux in the first coil, and part of this self flux is linking with the second coil, and this flux is called, and this flux phi 21 is called mutual flux. See here, in the secondary coil, flux is developed not because of the current, because of the first flux. Because of the first flux, part of the flux in the first coil is linking with the second coil, and some flux is developed in the second coil. That flux is called phi 21. Why it is called phi 21? Why not phi 12?
In second N2 in that.
Because in the secondary coil, flux is developed due to the first flux. This phi 2 is due to the N2. In the second coil, phi 2 means in the flux in the second coil. Due to which one? Due to the first flux. One means due to the first flux, in the second coil, flux is developed. That's why it is called. Now, what is the EMF induced in the second coil?
Phi 21.
E2.
Phi 21 by
Indeed.
E2. E2 is equal to N2 into phi 21 d phi 21 by dt. This is the EMF induced in the second coil. This is the EMF induced in the second coil. Voltage induced in the second coil. Okay. Now here, open circuit is there in the secondary winding. In the secondary winding, open circuit is there. Now, what is the voltage in this open circuit? What is the voltage? E2 is the voltage. Whatever the voltage you are having, the same voltage is appearing here in the open circuit. In open circuit, you'll have the voltage, but current is zero. But current is zero. Now I am providing the closed path for this open circuit. I am providing the closed path for this open circuit with the help of load. With the help of load, I am providing the closed path. Then, due to this voltage, current will flow in the load because closed path is created. Now current I2 begins to flow through. Now current I2 begins to flow through the in this loop. Now what is the voltage in the load? I am taking it as V2. I am taking the voltage in the load as V2. Voltage drop across this. V2 is equal to I2 multiplied by this load. Load may be resistance, load may be RL, load may be RLE. E is the battery. Okay. This load may be R load, resistive load. This load may be RL load, whatever it may be. Then V2 is equal to I2 multiplied by load voltage. Is it clear? Now we are having 4 voltages here. One is supply voltage. Next one is induced voltage in the primary winding. Now what is the voltage induced in the secondary winding? E2. Now what is the voltage in the load?
V2.
V2. Now see here. Okay, listen here. Here I am writing V1 greater than E1 greater than E2 greater than VT. VT is equal to V2. VT means terminal voltage or load voltage. V2 is equal to VT. We can also take V2, no problem. Okay, otherwise take it as V2 only. Terminal voltage or load voltage. Terminal voltage or load voltage, whatever, both are one and equal. Now I am writing like this. Can anyone tell why I am writing like this? Why V1 is greater than E1? Because when you apply V1, this entire voltage will appear across this, but some voltage is dropped across this winding as loss. Some voltage drop will be there in this winding. Therefore, V1, suppose if I take here resistance, you take some, for example, I am taking, suppose if you are having resistance, then what is V1? V1 is equal to E1 plus I1 into R. V1 is equal to V1 is equal to V1 is equal to E1 plus I1 into R. Then V1 is greater than E1 or not?
Yes, sir. Greater.
Then I1R is the voltage drop across this. Some voltage is dropped. When you are applying V1, some voltage is dropped across the resistance. That means some voltage is dropped across the inductance also. Therefore, V1 is greater than E1. Similarly, E1 is greater than E2. Sometimes, if number of turns is less here than E2, sometimes E2 is greater than E1. That depends upon the number of turns. But generally, I am taking it as E1 greater than E2 and E2 greater than V2. Why E2 is greater than V2 means some voltage is dropped across the load also. That's why E2 is greater than V2. This relation is not necessary. For your understanding purpose, I am writing this relation. But here now I am telling the principle. See the principle in transformer. Principle in transformer is mutual induction. See here, phi to 1 is the mutual flux. Due to this mutual flux, some voltage is induced in the secondary winding. So if there is no mutual flux, there is no voltage here. That means transformation is occurring due to the flux, mutual flux. Therefore, the principle in transformer is mutual induction. Mutual induction. Okay. Mutual to mutual flux, mutual induction is developed. It is not conduction, it is mutual induction. Okay. What do you mean by conduction? And what do you mean by induction? See here, conduction means if you take the wire like this, two coils are there. Two coils are there. If current is flowing like this, some flux is developed, mutual flux is developed. There is connection in between the two coils. There is direct connection between the two coils. Let us take flux. This flux is linking with this one. Otherwise, flux is developed, self flux is developed here. Here also self flux is developed. Self flux is developed in both the coils. There is connection between these two coils, but there is connection in between these two coils. Is there connection? Is there connection between the two coils?
No, sir.
No. If there is no connection, it is called induction. It is called induction principle. If there is connection between the two coils, it is called conduction. It is called conduction. If there is no connection, then due to the first flux in the second coil, flux is developed. This is called induction. That's why the principle is mutual induction. Principle in transformer is mutual induction. In the exam, they will ask them, what is the principle in transformer? You had to write the principle in transformer is mutual induction. They'll give 2 marks. There is no need to explain all these points. No need to explain what is 511, what is 521, what is E1, what is E2. Nobody will ask all these things. Because for your understanding purpose, I have told all these points. What is the self flux? What is mutual flux? If I am not explaining what is self flux and mutual flux, you can't understand what do you mean by mutual induction. Now see in your textbook what they are giving. See working principle of transformer. Basis of transformer is mutual induction between the two circuits linked by a common magnetic flux. In exam, there is no need to write all these things. The principle in transformer is mutual induction. That's all you have to write. You have to draw this diagram, primary winding and secondary winding. And you have to explain no need to explain, the principle is mutual induction. That's all. Okay. Now see the diagram. In the diagram, we have having the winding. Red color is the winding. Primary winding and secondary winding. They have given one iron piece here. See, one iron piece is there here. See, one iron piece is there. Rectangular iron piece. This iron piece is called core. This iron piece is called core. Core means iron piece. Laminated core. Core means iron piece. Then what do you mean by core? We will see now. I'll explain what do you mean by core. In exam, nobody will ask what is core, but you should know what is the core. Anybody know what is the core? How core is formed? Okay. Have you written this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now see what do you mean by core? Core means iron piece. Coil means copper wire. Core means iron piece. Coil means copper wire. We are having two windings, that is coil. We are having two coils. One is primary coil and the one is secondary coil. Another one is core. Now we'll see what is this core. See here. I'm taking one thin lamination sheet, thin rectangular lamination sheet. I'm taking one thin rectangular lamination sheet of thickness 0.5 mm. I'm taking thin lamination sheet of thickness 0.5 mm. 0.5 mm means 0.5 into 10 power minus 3 meter. Okay, thickness is very thin lamination sheet. This is the very thin lamination sheet of thickness 0.5 mm. I am taking nearly 2000 sheets. I am taking nearly, I am cutting the lamination sheets in the rectangle shape. All these 2000 sheets are same size and same thickness. Of same size and same thickness. Same size means, suppose if it is 5 centimeter, the length is 5 centimeter. What do you mean by thickness? See here. See, this chalk piece is visible.
Yes, sir.
The length of this chalk piece is 5 centimeter. Let us take length of this chalk piece is 5 centimeter. Thickness means, see this side. See thickness. This is the thickness. Thickness of this chalk piece is this one. Okay. Similarly, the thickness of this sheet, each sheet is 0.5 mm. They are taking 2000 sheets of each sheet 0.5 mm. If you arrange 2000 sheets, we'll get one bunch of sheets. We'll get one bunch of sheets. Nearly, I am showing the hand. See here. This much bunch you will get. This much bunch I am getting. Okay. 2000 sheets if I arrange on one by one above the other, we will get this much bunch. After getting this much bunch, but core is a very small piece, iron piece. I think you might have, if you come to the lab, you can see the core. See this much bunch we are getting, but core is the only this much size. See, I'm compressing the size here. Initially 2000 sheets are this much bunch. Now I will compress this 2000 sheets to very small size. How we will compress that? So I am taking 100 tons weight. What is the 1 ton is equal to how many kgs?
10,000.
1000 kgs. 1000 kgs. 100 tons means 100 into 10,000. 100 into 1000 kgs. Can you lift this weight?
No, sir.
So with the help of crane, we will lift this weight. We can't lift this weight with our hand. So with the help of crane, I am lifting this weight. Crane is lifting this weight. And we are having 2000 sheets, this much bunch. And I am having, 2000 sheets, this much bunch. If I place this 100 tons weight on this bunch, this will be compressed like this. This will be compressed like this. And I will get one small size iron piece, core. That is called core. I am arranging 2000 sheets here. If you compress this, we'll get small size rectangle piece. I am getting rectangle piece. Small size rectangle piece. That is called soft iron piece. That is called soft iron piece. Is it clear? What do you mean by core?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That is called core. Core means not the coil, not the wire. It is the iron piece. I am taking lamination sheets. I am cutting equal size lamination sheets of 2000 sheets. And I am putting at one place 2000 sheets, one bunch on the ground. And with the help of 100 tons weight, I am crushing it. I am pressing it. When you press that, automatically it is compressed to very small size iron piece. That is called soft iron piece. That soft iron piece is called core. That is called the core. Now I got the core. This is called core, iron piece. Now on this core, I am placing the winding, primary winding, coil. Coil means winding. Coil means winding copper wire. Core means iron piece or steel piece or iron piece, whatever it may be. Now I am placing the winding like this. This is the primary winding having N1 tons. Having N1 tons. I am placing secondary winding here. Having N2 turns. This is the secondary winding. On the iron piece, I am placing primary winding and secondary winding. What is the necessity of placing this winding on the iron piece? Without iron piece also I can place the winding. What is the necessity of iron piece? Core. Now I am telling what is the purpose of core. In exam they will ask for 2 marks. What is the purpose of core? Core is, we know the formula for voltage V is equal to I into R. We know the formula for voltage V is equal to I into R in electrical quantity. But in this V is called electromotive force. F is called magnetomotive force. In place of current, we will get flux. In place of R, we will get reluctance. In place of R, I'll get reluctance. S is called reluctance. These are the electric quantities. These are the magnetic quantities. F is called magnetomotive force in magnetic field. V is called electromotive force in electric field. I is the current in electric field. Phi is the magnetic flux. Analogous to current, phi is the analogous quantity. For V, analogous quantity in magnetic field is F. For resistance, it is reluctance. S is called reluctance. S is called reluctance. In this, resistance will oppose the current. In R is inversely proportional to current. Similarly, S is inversely proportional to flux. Here R is inversely proportional to current. Resistance will oppose the current. Here reluctance will oppose the flux. Reluctance will oppose the flux. Here the property, write down note. Iron is having low reluctance. Iron piece is having low reluctance. Iron piece is having more reluctance. Sorry, iron piece is having less reluctance. Sorry, I had told wrong. Iron piece is having less reluctance. Iron piece is having less reluctance. In brackets, property of iron piece. So what is the property of iron piece? Having low reluctance. Property of iron piece is low reluctance it is having. If reluctance is less, what happens to flux?
Increase.
Flux will be more. If reluctance is less, flux will be more. That's why we'll place the coil on the iron piece to increase the flux in the winding. If we are having more flux, we'll get more voltage. That's why you'll use the iron piece. That is the reason why you are placing the coil on the iron piece. Okay.
Sir, what is mean by reluctance?
Reluctance means which opposes the flux. See, in electric field, we are having resistance. What is the resistance? Resistance is inversely proportional to current. Resistance, what it will do in the electrical quantity? First of all,
Opposes current.
it opposes the current. Similarly, F is equal to phi into S. F is equal to phi into S. Bring the S to this side. Phi is inversely proportional to S. Just like resistance, reluctance means which opposes the flux. Reluctance means which opposes the flux. Right down. Reluctance means which opposes the flux. Electric quantity we are calling it as resistance, but in magnetic quantity we are calling it as reluctance. Analogous quantity for resistance is reluctance. Here it will oppose the flux. Suppose if reluctance is less, your flux will be increased. That's why we'll use the iron piece. The property of iron piece is having low reluctance. It is having low reluctance. If reluctance is less, more flux is developed. That is the reason why you will use the iron piece. We'll take one iron piece. On the iron piece, we'll place the coils, primary winding and secondary winding. Now, if you apply the supply voltage V1 here, then current I1 is flowing through this coil. If you apply voltage V1 here, current I1 will flow through this coil and flux is developed. Flux phi11 is developed. Part of this flux will link with the secondary coil and mutual flux is developed. Mutual flux phi21. If iron piece is there, more flux will link with the secondary coil. If iron piece is there, here more flux is induced in the secondary coil. Okay. Now here voltage in the secondary, if it is open circuit, some voltage is induced in the secondary coil. Sorry, E2 is the voltage. E1 is the voltage induced in the primary coil. E2 is the voltage induced in the secondary coil. V2 is open circuit voltage. And if it is open circuit, V2 is equal to E2. V2 is equal to E2. 1 minute.
Sorry, one call had came. See here. Now have understood what is the core? Any doubt in the core?
No, sir.
Okay. So in exam, nobody will ask about the construction of core. But we should know what is core, why you are using the core. Core is used for increasing the flux. Core is having the property of low reluctance. If reluctance is less, flux will be more. That is the reason why you are using the iron piece in the transformer. Even if you open the transformer, in your lab we can see. We are having the core, we can see the transformer. In the transformer, the core is there. Okay, on the core we are placing the windings, primary winding and secondary winding. Okay. Now see here, I am sharing the screen. 1 minute. We can clearly see blue color. 2000 sheets are there here. 2000 to 4000 sheets approximately, or 5000 sheets also. Blue color you can see. This is not one single plain sheet. In 2000 to 4000 sheets, they have bunched and compressed. Then we are getting the iron piece. Then we are getting iron piece. These are called steel laminations, silicon steel laminations. Laminated core means laminations. Each sheet is called one lamination. 2000 sheets are called 2000 sheet laminations. 2000 sheet laminations. That's why it is called laminated core. Now observe here. Transformer construction core. I have already explained the core. Based on the construction of the transformer, see whatever I have explained, they have given here. I am just reading whatever I have explained. Simple elements of a transformer consist of two coils. What are the two coils?
N1 and 2.
Primary coil.
Okay, primary coil and secondary coil are N1 and N2. Having mutual inductance. Having mutual inductance and a laminated steel core. Laminated means each sheet is called one laminated sheet. Laminated steel core. The two coils are insulated from each other and the steel core. Other necessary parts, this is not necessary, all these things. 1 minute. Now see the second paragraph. In all types of transformers, the core is constructed of transformer sheet steel laminations assembled to provide a continuous magnetic path with a minimum of air gap included. Steel used is high silicon content. Sometimes heat treated to produce high permeability and low hysteresis loss. Okay, this is also not necessary. Next thing, eddy current loss is minimized by laminating the core. Write down one question I am telling here. Why transformer is laminated? Why transformer is laminated? Or varnished. Why transformer core is laminated? Why transformer core is laminated or varnished? Why transformer core is laminated or varnished? Write down the answer. Write down the answer. To minimize the eddy current loss, transformer core is laminated. To minimize the eddy current loss, see here the spelling of eddy current. To minimize the eddy current loss, transformer core is laminated. If you write this, they'll give 2 marks in exam. Why transformer core is laminated? Why means to minimize the eddy current loss, transformer core is laminated. What do you mean by eddy current loss? Anyone knows? In physics, I think you have studied eddy currents. Okay, if you don't know, no problem. I will explain. See here, eddy currents. This is the coil. This is the coil. In the coil, current is flowing. In the coil, current is flowing. The I is the main current flowing in the coil. Around this main current, some leakage currents are developed. Around this main current, some leakage currents are developed. These leakage currents are called eddy currents. Write down this diagram and write down eddy current side heading. Eddy current side heading. Draw this coil. I is the main current, okay? Now write down what is eddy current. Around the main current I, around the main current I, comma, some circulating currents are developed. Some circulating currents are developed, which are called eddy currents. Remember one thing, eddy currents are also called as leakage currents. Write down note. Eddy currents are called leakage currents. Okay. Right in the next line. Due to eddy currents, some loss will occur. LOSS. Some loss will occur in core. Some loss will occur in the core. Which is called eddy current loss. I am telling, due to the current in the winding, loss will occur in the core iron piece. Here current is flowing in the winding, but loss is occurring in the iron piece. Remember what I am telling. Then what do you mean by this loss? What? Eddy current loss. I will tell. See here. Here iron piece we are having. Iron piece is called core. There are two types of core losses. In the core we are having core loss, iron loss or core loss. Core is also called as iron piece. There are two types of losses in the core. One is hysteresis loss. One is hysteresis loss. Another one is eddy current loss. In iron piece, we are having two losses. One is called hysteresis loss. Another one is eddy current loss. Hysteresis loss, I am representing it as WH. This is the power loss. Hysteresis loss is power loss. Eddy current loss is also power loss. WH I am representing power loss here. And here I am representing WE. Or we can also represent it PH. Hysteresis power loss, or PE, eddy current power loss. Generally in textbooks they will write it as WH and WE. Hysteresis loss and eddy current loss. Is it okay? Now I have explained eddy current loss. I have explained the eddy current loss. Now what is the hysteresis loss? What is the hysteresis loss? I think everybody knows that iron piece can be magnetized to magnet.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Iron piece can be magnetized to magnet. I will discuss hysteresis loss now. WH, hysteresis loss. This is the hysteresis curve. This is the hysteresis curve. Okay. H is called magnetic field intensity. B is called flux density. B is called the flux density. So this is the iron piece we are having. I want to magnetize this iron piece. Otherwise, take one iron rod. This is an iron rod, iron piece. On the iron piece, we are winding the coil. On the iron piece, I am winding the coil. This is one end of the coil, this is the other end of the coil. This coil is connected to battery. I am connecting this coil to the battery. All these things are not necessary, but you should know what is hysteresis loss. In exam, they'll ask what is hysteresis loss. That's why I am telling. This is the battery. From negative to positive, current will flow in the coil. Current will flow in the copper wire, not in the iron piece. Current will flow in this copper wire, not in the iron piece. Now, when current is flowing through this coil, copper wire, around the current carrying conductor, what will happen? What will happen around the current carrying conductor?
Flux.
Flux
Flux
generator.
is developed. Okay, flux is developed. Now, first I am increasing the flux in this direction, in the positive direction. So up to here, your iron piece is magnetized. Next, again I am reversing the current. I will interchange the battery terminals. If I interchange the battery terminals, current direction will be changed. If I interchange initially current is flowing from negative to positive like this. If you interchange these terminals, current will flow in the reverse direction in the coil. If current is flowing in the reverse direction, now again it is magnetized in the backward direction. First I am magnetizing in the forward, iron piece I am magnetizing in the forward direction. Now I am magnetizing in the backward direction by interchanging the battery terminals. Like this, I will draw the curve. This is called hysteresis curve. I am not explaining clearly because it is not in your syllabus. If I am to explain this curve, it will take nearly 15 to 20 minutes. Just for idea, I am telling. I am magnetizing the iron piece in the forward direction and in the backward direction. How we are magnetizing in the forward and backward direction? By changing the current direction. If you change the current direction, automatically flux developed is also in the forward and backward direction. This magnetic flux, due to this current, magnetic flux is developed. This magnetic flux is magnetizing the iron piece as magnet. in the forward direction, backward direction, and we are drawing the curve. The area under this curve is called hysteresis loss. Write down side heading hysteresis loss. Hysteresis loss. Side heading hysteresis loss. Hysteresis loss. Due to continuous, write down, due to continuous reversal of the current, due to continuous reversal of current, due to continuous reversal of current in the coil, due to continuous reversal of current in the coil, comma, some loss is going to occur in iron piece. Some loss is going to occur in iron piece. Some loss is going to occur in iron piece, which is called some loss is going to occur in iron piece, which is called hysteresis loss. Okay, sorry. See here. Due to continuous reversals of current in the iron piece, some loss is going to occur in the iron piece, which is called hysteresis loss. So in exam, see here, transformer. Transformer is having two losses. One is copper loss, another one is iron loss. Transformer is having two losses. One is copper loss, another one is iron loss. Again, iron loss is classified as, iron loss is also called as core loss. Iron loss is classified as hysteresis loss and eddy current loss. Iron loss other name is core loss. Iron loss other name is core loss. So core loss is classified into two types. One is hysteresis loss, another one is eddy current loss. Then what do you mean by copper loss? Where copper loss will occur?
Coil.
In coil. Because coil is made up of copper. Coil is made up of copper in primary winding and secondary winding. Copper loss will occur. Core loss will occur in the iron piece. Okay. These are the classification of the losses in the transformer. Have you written?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now see here. I'm sharing the screen only. So in exam, they'll ask question, write down the question. What are the types of transformer? Write down. What are the types of transformers? What are the types of transformer according to construction? What are the types of transformers according to construction? What are the types of transformers according to construction? So in exam, they will ask what are the classification of transformer or what are the types of transformers. Don't write step up transformer and step down transformer. Don't write step up and step down. You write down what I am telling now. Write down here. Red color you see on the screen. Two types of transformers are core type and shell type. Write down. Two types of transformers are core type and second one is shell type. You have to write this in the exam. Core type and shell type. Most of the students are writing step up and step down. That is not according to construction. According to construction, types of transformers are two types. One is core type and the one is shell type. Now we'll see. What is this core type and shell type? What is this core type and shell type? First we'll see core type. First we'll see core type. See here. In the core type, the winding surrounds a considerable part of the core. In core type transformer, windings surround a considerable part of the core. See the diagram I am drawing on the board. See the diagram. I will draw. This is the core, iron piece. This is the core, iron piece. Okay. And I am drawing the winding here. On the iron piece, I am drawing the winding. This is N1. This is N2. Okay. And this is your V2. See in your textbook also they have given first diagram. This is the first diagram. This is the core type. What is the meaning of core type means? Meaning of core type means windings surround a considerable part of the core. See in the diagram, this winding is covering the core. Maximum part of the core is surrounded by the coil. Right on? Core type siding. This is core type transformer. In core type, right on? In core type, maximum part of the core is surrounded by a coil. Maximum part of the core is surrounded by a coil. In core type, maximum part of the core is surrounded by a coil. What is the meaning? Means almost the entire core is covered by the coil. That is the meaning. Okay. Next, shell type. Right on next heading, shell type. Shell type transformer. See here I am drawing on the board. Shell type transformer. Draw the diagram. This is the shell type transformer. This is the primary winding. This will be the secondary winding. This is primary winding. This will be the secondary winding. Right hand side heading shell type transformer. In shell type, what is being done? ఇక్కడ మిడిల్ లో ఏముంది? What is there in the middle? Coil.
Coil.
In the middle, coil is there. Coil is surrounded by the core. Coil ni cover chesindi? Iron piece is covering the coil. That's why it is called shell type. But in the first case, coil is surrounding the core. Okay, core ni coil surround chesindi. Ikkada coil ni core surround chesindi. First case, in the first diagram, core is surrounded by the coil. But in the second diagram, coil is surrounded by the iron piece or core. That's why there is a difference between core type and shell type. Right down. In shell type, core surrounds us and see the text too. In shell type, core surrounds a considerable portion of the winding. ఈ వైండింగ్ ని ఐరన్ పీస్ కవర్ చేస్తుంది. దట్స్ వై ఇట్ ఇస్ కాల్డ్ షెల్ టైప్. ఇన్ షెల్ టైప్ ట్రాన్స్ఫార్మర్ ద కోర్ సరౌండ్స్ ఏ కన్సిడరబుల్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది వైండింగ్. These are the two types. You have to draw the diagrams in the exam and you have to explain these two diagrams about shell type, core type and shell type. They'll give 2 marks. Sometimes they'll ask for 5 marks. Okay, I'm stopping the class here. Tomorrow we'll see the derivation for the EMF equation of transformer in the next class. I think all are present. Nine, 11, 15. Nine is present. 11 is absent. 11 and 15 are absent.
11 is present, sir.
Okay, 11 is present. 15. Okay, only one is absent. 15 is absent. And 30 is there. Okay.
Sir, 27, 33.
27, 33 and
That's 15, 27, 33. That's it, sir.
okay. Okay, now you can exit the class. Tomorrow we'll see EMF equation of transformer and problems on the EMF equation of transformer. You can exit now.